Didn't screw that up. I most likely did.
Hey, look, video's loading.
Okay, Alpha Geek is a go.
The moment we came on, we all looked like we were just stunned by this technology.
Yes.
What is this?
What's going on?
Quick, everybody, make a face at your computer like you're confused by it.
It comes pretty easily. It doesn't require a lot of effort.
Not much.
I'm going to retweet Koltrane because he's actually saying what we're doing.
That's probably a good idea.
Yes.
He took the time to write it, Ben.
I did. I wrote it.
Oh, nice.
And you took the time to retweet it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
That was hard work. I had to find the button. I had to click it.
Right.
I just retweeted
Thankfully, I
from the
spelled
show
there
account.
right. I used it properly. Whew.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Right. E-I-R.
That's risky business.
It is. You're rolling the dice, really.
Yeah.
This whole, rules of language thing. Bunch of BS.
Yeah, there's pitfalls in the English language. You got to be careful. Sometimes you're like, this sounds good in my head, but you can't write it because if you do, I mean, you subject yourself to scrutiny.
That's right. At all times. I'm very happy that this was like language 1 for me because I hear that's like. It's like they say it's like one of the hardest languages to learn, and it makes sense. There's just so many things like, oh, well, you pronounce it this way, but it really means this, but it also means that. And oh, my gosh. So I'm very happy that number 1 was English. 'Cause I have enough trouble with that already. Do you guys speak other languages? Are you anything like that?
Well, I took some French.
Really?
A little. I mean, in high school, but I knew some.
Oh. Let me see here. Tu parles français? Tu parles français?
Un petit.
Ooh. J'aime le fromage.
Voulez-vous du beurre?
Yes, exactly. I also took French in high school. And, well, I know how this might sound, and I don't mean for this to sound how it's going to sound, but I was at a wedding. And the bride did like a foreign exchange thing, right? For like, I don't know, a year or something in France.
Oh. So
she invited a woman from France who spoke French. And I took a little bit of it in, high school. So I kind of used my moves of the j'aime le fromage. But anyway, it was a good night. It was a good night. So I was thankful that at least French in high school, it worked out for that one evening. But I'm sure afterwards she was disappointed in America and vowed never to come back. And American men, it was just bad news all around. So I don't think I represented the U.S. in a good way. I think it was bad news.
Well, I personally think that tu es le grand fromage.
Yes. Ah, la bibliothèque, huh? La bibliothèque. Right? Yeah, I have no idea what any of that stuff means, but
I never got me nothing.
So, but at least that's like a useful language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't know it very well.
Right.
I know it just enough to be distracted if people are speaking Spanish around me, because it's like hearing a conversation. If I were talking to you right now and I just started to press mute while be kind of equivalent of maybe getting a couple words.
Right.
Really, it would just be parts I got. Just kind of just.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. No, I get it. But that's good, though. At least you're picking up little words.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this guy I was talking yesterday, he kept calling me pendejo, but that means friend, right? That's gotta be.
Oh, yeah.
That's a friend.
It's a good thing.
All right,
means you're buds.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, good. That's good news.
Let me guess. He was like really excited about how friendly you were too. So he was saying it just with this fierce look on his face, right?
He was really intense, like really intense, like, almost like yelling it, And I was like, yeah, we're buds, I didn't understand, but yeah, really intense guy. A vein popping out of the forehead, the whole nine. But he was really excited to hang out, I think.
It sounds like my buddy. He calls me Gringo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another
Good friends.
Real big term of endearment right there.
That's excellent. That's excellent. That means love.
Means come up, put your arm around me, and let's share a drink.
Right.
Good. I'm glad to know that.
Let's see.
Oh man, I wish my chat was working correctly. But hi everybody who's in chat. We can't type to you.
Yeah, hi chat.
Yeah, we can't type.
I can try to talk to you.
It's not working. I'm getting the 504 error as well.
That does nothing. We're not allowed to be in our own chat room anymore. That's what happens when you hit the 2-year mark. They say no more. You're cut off.
You've had enough fun. Get out of here.
That's all you get.
You have clearly shown that you cannot use this service responsibly. We gave you 2 years to figure it out, and you didn't do it. So, good day.
So that's it.
Well, look, we're starting to play Hotline Miami. Come on.
Yeah, all
That's
right.
using
Let's
it
get
right.
Hotline Miami going.
Let's do this. Yeah, I hear that's actually a lot of fun, that game. I hear that's pretty sweet.
It is, and I was at a really great part for the stream. I was at a part where, for no reason at all, I was walking down a hallway and I got hit by a van.
Oh.
Just came out of nowhere, scared the crap out of me. Nowhere else in the game has that ever been a thing that happens or even remotely happens. Right. So I hit A to respawn. Turns out they respawn you right in front of the van. If you are not holding left the second you respawn, you get hit by the van again. So there was a period of time in the stream where I was just repeatedly getting run over by this van.
That's awesome. Just over and over and over again.
I thought, well, I picked a good time to show this.
Right. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's Miami, man. That's how it is over there.
Oh, yeah. You can't walk 2 miles without getting accosted by a van.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
If Dexter taught me anything.
Just started watching that show, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the first time. We just started, my wife and I, we're on season, I think it's 4?
The one with John Lithgow?
No, we just finished that one.
Okay.
So we're on the new one with, so it must be 5, with Julia Stiles.
Yeah, you should probably stop there.
Right? It's not, I gotta admit, we're like 3 in and I'm like, it's not too great. You know?
It doesn't help that the John Lithgow season was so good.
Right.
It's,
I even liked 3 with the one guy.
Yeah.
The guy. He was, the guy.
Yeah.
That's when I stopped. I did season 1 and 2 and then saw like an episode or 2 of 3 and I'm just kind of like, eh.
3 was actually decent. I thought that one actually got pretty good.
Oh, that's the one with Jimmy Smits.
Jimmy Smits.
Yeah. And see, I like him. I don't know. The season just, I don't know. Maybe because I was watching it back to back and I had my fill of Dexter.
Right.
I guess. I don't know.
No, you're right. It's a lot of like, I don't know what to feel anymore. I guess, he's just kind of like,
maybe I'm a monster.
Right. It's right.
Maybe
it's very monotone.
Over.
I guess I don't
Maybe
feel.
it's not.
Exactly.
I'm going to go buy a cake.
Right.
Like a monster took over.
Right. And then, yeah. Music. Right. But it's good. So I don't know. Yeah. So I like 3. 4 was great with Lithgow. Fantastic. 5, not so much. I don't know. I'm not into it as much. But like, well, how? So is this season just bad overall? It's no good.
3 is probably the worst season that they have.
3 meaning Jimmy Smits one.
Or I'm sorry, no, the 6. Sorry. 6.
Okay, 6. So the one after Julia Stiles is the worst ever. Because I'm on Julia Stiles right now, which I think is 5.
I'm trying to remember. Hold on. Okay. I think 5 is the worst.
All right.
I think 6 kind of started to save it a little bit.
Yeah.
It was okay. The finale is horrible.
Wow, great.
Is one of the worst series finales of all time.
Jeez.
So stop right before it.
Right. Got a lot to look forward to here. This is great. This is good motivation. Right. Yeah. This is fantastic. Okay, good. Honey, we got to keep going. Oh, yeah.
Like, it's all downhill after 4, but occasionally there are little bumps where it pops up a little bit.
Wow. What happened?
I don't know.
Is it like Lost? I don't know.
I
Lost.
kind of liked some of the later Lost stuff.
Well, see, oh yeah. I know that's I shouldn't bring that up. That's like bringing up like religion and politics. You don't bring up Lost.
Don't talk about Lost.
No, you don't talk about Lost. That's a lot of controversy there.
There is.
Yeah.
Well, I thought when they finally just said, "Screw it, we're a sci-fi show now," like they got the freedom to do a lot of stuff that maybe before where they were just like mystery.
Right. What does it mean? Right.
When they were finally like, I don't know, he pulls on a wooden wheel and ends up in the desert in some other country. Why not?
Exactly.
Also, time travel. The smoke monster is really just the smoke monster. Just evil and good. They're gonna play a board game. I don't know. Everybody's dead. I don't know.
Right.
Like once they hit that point, I was like, okay, I can appreciate what you're doing.
And
your
I love
brutal honesty.
Yeah, and in the interviews, they're like, no, we have a plan. We know exactly. Like, you have no idea where you're going with this show. Like, you have no clue. You are literally making this up as you're going on. It's insane.
Yeah, so the theme of tonight is apparently going to be, so I stopped watching that. I watched the first season, really liked it. Got through about maybe half of the second. I'm like, whatever. And then I think it came back for about half of season 4. And then yeah.
Oh, we have to go back, Kate. We have to go back. What? Yeah, no, it's insane. I don't know. I did not like how it kind of ended up and the whole ending of it. I was like, what? Like I was one of those what people, not like, oh, that's really nice and sweet. That makes a lot of sense.
We get to meet all our fellow Strandies in a church before we move on.
In slow motion. Right. Like moon rays coming through the windows or something. Like,
because those were the most important people in his life. He didn't meet anybody else important, just the people on that show.
That's right.
That's all he cared about.
Of course.
And his dad, who he hated, who I think was there. I don't know.
Probably.
Who knows? Remember that episode where it was all about a tattoo he got? That was
yes. I'm sorry, that thing had so much filler in it. It was unbelievable. And I remember seeing the promos for it. They're like, and you'll find out what his tattoo really means. And then you're like, oh, I got to see it. I can't wait. And then he's like, oh, yeah, it's really nothing. Man. It doesn't mean anything. Like, okay, great. Yeah, just something cool. Like,
number 4 on a menu at a Chinese restaurant down the street.
Yeah.
I just walk in, I'm all...
It means a Mugu Gai Pan. That's all it is. That's what that is right there. That's
but if I touch it, I go back in time.
Oh! That's terrible. Terrible. Yeah, Walt, exactly. Walt could control birds or something. The boy.
I feel so bad. I cannot see that actor who played Walt's dad. Every time I see him, I just start going, Walt!
Walt! Right. Yeah, it's over. It's over.
I can't take him seriously anymore.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. Ending of Lost better than ending of Battlestar Galactica. Well, but that was a great show.
Know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Battlestar was all right. That wasn't too bad.
Oh,
there was some stuff to the ending of Battlestar that I really liked.
Yeah.
I did like the answer of what Earth was and then what New Earth was and all that.
It's still one of the best reveals of like, hey, we're at Earth.
Like, that's not Earth. They made that up.
Wait a minute. Why I oughta. Yeah, no, I love that show. Battlestar was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. We found our roundtable discussion. I think this is
there we go.
Show. Right.
It's really hard for series to end well. It's difficult. Even Breaking Bad, which I think had a perfect ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't like.
Really, they didn't like the ending of Breaking Bad.
They thought it was too happy for a show that was so depressing.
Happy? What are you talking about? I don't want to reveal anything, but there's no way that's happy.
I mean, know.
You felt good for the guy, like he was happy, but it wasn't like, it was pretty morbid.
Yeah.
It wasn't sunshine and rainbows in a church with moonbeams coming in and everyone in slow motion. You know what I mean?
Well, finally he catches a break at some
there.
point. Yeah, finally something good happens. I mean, 2 days later, something will just destroy his life again. But it was good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I liked it. There were a lot of people that I saw that were like, man, why'd they go for the happy ending? I was like, what do you...
Right. What are you
I don't think we
talking
saw the same show. Like, just because he made a good decision, finally,
Right.
that doesn't make it the happy ending.
Right. Exactly. Have you guys been watching Better Call Saul?
Oh, I love Better Call Saul.
Isn't it a great
It's so
show?
good.
It is
So much-
so good. Oh, that episode with Mike.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a heartbreaking, amazing episode. Mike is the best.
Now all of a sudden it's like all the stuff he did in Breaking Bad. It's like, oh,
Yeah. It's so great. Oh, I love that show. I'm really glad that came out so well. And I love, too, the little hints of, like, who he's going to become. Like, who he really is. Like, there's that one part where he goes into the clothing store.
Yeah.
And he's going to buy a shirt to match this. And he instantly goes over to the bright orange one, and he looks at the hat. And he's like, oh, this is nice, you know. And it's like, oh, that's Saul, you know. And the reveal of how his name of Saul, I love that in the alley.
It's all good, man.
It's all good,
Yep.
man. It's like, yes. Oh, I love that show.
The whole time I'm watching it, I just remember that part in the last season where he's at the car wash and he meets the son, and the son is like freaking out, and he's like, "You're on the billboard outside." He just goes, "Ah," and does like finger guns at him.
Right, right. Oh,
I love Saul. Saul's great.
very good.
show.
So I
let's
guess we should talk about WoW now.
I think so. I think it's time to wow it up.
All right. Well, I think I'm recording. Let me just double check. Yep.
Do you want me to record tonight, Ben,
Um,
as well, after the scare of last week?
after the scare of last week, yeah. Go ahead.
All right, I will do that.
Should be good, but just in case.
Scare of the scare, right.
The scare of last week.
Scare of 2015.
We opened the file, but the file wasn't there. Ooh.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, I
Especially when
hit
you finish the
save,
show.
and then Audacity's
Yikes.
like, I'm not gonna work.
In all the time that I have done any podcast, that has only happened once, and it has been my fault.
Fantastic.
We
It
lost
was
an
great, too.
entire track to, what was it, Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters.
We were doing commentary over Ghostbusters, and
Yeah, John, me, and Rem were doing a show that we like to call Shh.
the trap was not clean.
No.
Right. Yes, it's true. This man has no dick. Right. Exactly. Yes. That's
Oh,
insane.
I got to see him at the Phoenix Comic Con. It was sad.
The guy?
Yeah. Yeah. He
The
was just kinda
red-haired
sitting there.
dude?
Yeah. He was sitting in the Arizona Ghostbusters section, and he's just at a table, just looking really sad and depressed. And I'm like, oh, I know who he is, but
Right.
Well,
We just
you
kinda
have to
walked
think,
past.
okay, this guy played a character that is memorable for Bill Murray saying he has no dick. So, like, that's what he's memorable for. So you have to assume that everybody who went up to that table was like, hands him a photo of himself and is like, is it true that you have no dick?
Right.
And
That's
he
a
has
great
heard
point.
that 87 times in the first hour at the convention.
Right. Like the rest of his life, this man has no dick. Like that's it. He's labeled forever. Yeah, you're right. I can't remember the guy's name either. But
well,
he's always playing a dick. Right. Oh my gosh. That's
I just know he's
hilarious.
Walter Peck in the movie, so
Yeah.
Perfect
Walter
last
Peck
name.
in the movie. Yeah.
Right.
I'm pretty sure people just call him that. They're like, hey, Walter, not my name. Yeah, I don't care. Is it true you don't have a dick?
Right. That's brilliant. Yeah, I would be pretty depressed and pretty down and out in Beverly Hills if that were the case. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I mean, trying to pick up ladies at a bar.
Right.
Like, can I buy you a drink? Thanks, but no thanks. I want a man with a dick, please.
Right. I'm gonna
you've
pass.
seen it.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I made it into the chat.
Yeah, Ro just said, so I'm checking.
Ro knows all. He knows what's going on.
Oh my gosh, it might actually work.
All right, well,
You know?
now we're no longer playing Hotline Miami, maybe.
Nervous it's gonna crash everything for me. I see a test.
I keep hearing dicks. That was the last 5-star review we got, actually.
Right. That was the feedback. I keep hearing dicks. 5 stars. Yeah. That would actually be the greatest review I think anyone could ever get. 5 stars. I keep hearing dicks. Yes.
We made it.
That's
We
it.
did
That's
it.
Pinnacle. You peaked.
Show's
That's
over.
You're done.
We're done.
That's right.
We can all go home.
That's it.
It's been 2 years of
Thank you.
waiting. We finally stopped.
Perfect. Perfect. I really hope someone right now is writing you a 5-star review that says, I keep hearing dicks. That would be fun to buy. Oh.
Ah, that's good. Why are we going to do a show after that? Just release that, Ben. We're done. We can go
That's
home.
it.
Okay.
We're good to go.
Cool. Good.
All right, we got people committing to this, so...
All right, good. Good. I keep hearing dicks. Oh, the glory.
Perfect.
The glory. Chat room, you guys are the best.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hello to everyone in there. Hello.
You're full of dicks.
Oh, man.
Well, Colt,
All right.
whenever you want to start us off, it is
Let's talk some WoW.
all on you.
All right. I'm going to get into narrator voice here.
Ooh.
I'm a Brishira Toro. All right, here we go. This is Koltrane from Convert to Raid, and you're listening to Azeroth Roundtable.
Hey, John.
That's too epic.
I think
Can we get
have the
another
intro-
one where you say, this is Coltrane, and then
Sure.
you're listening to a bunch of dicks?
Yeah. This is Koltrane, and you're listening to a bunch of dicks.
Oh, that's
Show's
great.
over.
There it is.
I don't need anything else in my life. My family's gonna thank me when the holidays come around. I don't need anything.
Come
Good, I
on.
got
A lot
everything
of
I need.
That's it.
Why don't you need anything, John? Oh, just a bunch of dicks.
That's it. That's all we got. We're good to go.
That would certainly make them pay attention if I asked for that for Christmas.
Welcome to Azeroth Roundtable, episode 104. My name is Ben Bumhuffer, and with me, the current king of Azeroth Roundtable, the champion, the man himself, John Jagger.
That's right. I was recently reminded that I am the champion of Azeroth Roundtable. And I'm excited about that. And now I'm going to promptly forget it again for another year. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm happy. I'm as happy as can be.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that.
It's been 2 years.
It has
Let's
been
just get it out of the way real quick right now. It's been 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
I have your anniversary card sitting here. I'll give it to you later after the show.
Okay, cool. I did not get one for you, as
What?
seems appropriate to our on-screen chemistry.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a funny thing happened really close to 2 years ago. I don't think it was exact, but we had someone on the show that we were incredibly excited to have on, and even though we had kind of done another show, we, rebranded and started, brand new and had episode 1 and had a guest on, and it was weird because he's like, I love the show on episode 1.
Right.
Which is still one of the greatest things that I think I can actually pull from that episode. But joining us for our 2-year anniversary, some would say returning for good. Those people would be mistaken. But Koltrane, welcome back to the show.
Happy 2-year anniversary to you. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to be back, and I hate the show. I hate the
good.
show.
Yeah.
It's
It
just, it's horrible. It's awful.
It was all downhill from there.
That's
really
right.
was.
That's right. That's right. No, but I appreciate you guys having me back on, and congratulations, man. 2 years is a big deal. That's a long time.
It is. It's a serious commitment.
It
Yeah.
really is.
There are very few things in this world I have committed to for longer than 2 years.
Right.
Very few. So.
Just a pair of underwear and this show.
Pretty much it. You should probably change that, by the way. It's getting a little rank. Probably now's about the time. But
Yeah, well, I mean,
seriously,
it's
congrats on 2 years, man. I mean, seriously, that's really, really great news. And the fact you guys are still getting along, you haven't killed each other yet, that's a great thing.
Well, there were some times. Almost.
Right. Well, that defines an excellent relationship. You know, you got to have your ups and downs, your trials. You get your makeup podcast afterwards. It's perfect. It works out well.
Nothing better than a makeup podcast. Like that
definitely.
is, anytime we had a stellar show, you can bet we were probably fighting the show before that.
Definitely.
Exactly. It was full of nothing but I hate you. No, I hate you. All right, we're live. Let's do it.
And then we're
So that's
forcing
great.
smiles the whole time. You can totally not tell. I mean, we're that good. So.
Yeah.
Right. But congratulations,
Professionalism.
though, man. 2 years
you.
is a big deal. That's really, really great. So congrats.
Thank you. Well, 2 years is a lot of time since we last talked to you. And, I mean, obviously you've been a little busy doing things here or there. So, overall, what have you been up to? Either in or out of WoW, within the last week, month, 2 years, whatever.
Well, as far as WoW goes, still raiding, love raiding. We're kind of hitting our heads on that wall of heroic Black Hand. So that's always that's a fun fight. We're working on that. Then we're going to get on to mythic stuff. And I got to admit, lately, becoming a little obsessed with Heroes of the Storm. Yeah, I got to tell you, this game, there's something about it. It's got its hooks in me, and they're in deep. So I'm falling in love with this game. And I know you guys are big fans as well.
Oh, just a bit.
We've been streaming it after every episode for the past couple of weeks because we're hooked.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And you're not talking about stitches. You mean your hook.
Yes, at both, because Stitches will hook you. He has no qualms about it.
That's right. Well, speaking of heroes, there was some news that came out today about a new skin for Tassadar.
I heard about this.
Have you seen this? Have
As
you
someone
seen this?
someone who has the Mecha Tassadar skin, these changes it's exciting business. He turns into a jet.
What?
He turns into a jet, Ben.
No.
So it is the typical Mecha Tassadar skin. They may have touched it up a little bit because it does look awesome, but it did before too. They have also added to where when he goes into his big Archon state for his ultimate, he gets a mechanical version of that. But the best thing, when he goes into his on his mount, instead of mounting, he transforms into a jet and flies around the map.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's the greatest thing I have ever seen. Oh, I love that look too, that mecha. It reminds me of like Robotech or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It just looks so awesome.
He's ready to go. I'm so ready. I need this Tassadar in my life. I already needed Tassadar in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But now I need Mecha Tassadar.
Now you get to be a Transformer, John. Your dreams come true.
I mean, I'm living the dream. Tassadar and Transformers. Two great things in one.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
I'm also going to try out Sylvanas because everything I've seen on her seems really interesting. She's supposed to be coming in the patch next week.
Mm-hmm.
They're also giving Murky a bunny suit.
Yes.
Oh.
Like kind of an Easter egg bunny
Easter
type
bunny.
suit.
I was thinking
Right.
a different kind. Just like corset.
Right.
like a Playboy bunny Murloc.
I was a little
Wow.
worried for a second there. I mean, he looked cute, but
Oh,
What if they
his
dressed him
erotic
up?
ultimate is insane.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. It'll blow your mind. It's
I
crazy.
wonder if his ultimate, where he summons all the Murlocs, if they'll all have little bunny ears too.
oh, that'd be great.
I don't think they'll go.
Or just
that
little
far.
rabbits go.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Now, Ben, what's your favorite hero? What hero do you like in Heroes?
I'm kind of waffling back and forth because I play Muradin the most. Absolutely love running around as him. Giant avatar mode, smacking
Yes.
things, stunning them, and everything. And I do okay. So, yay. I mean, he's cool. I mean, even though I'm a Horde player, I love dwarves, and the fact that he is like just awesome, has the really cool accent, and as much as I don't ever want to own it, that like King Candy skin is fantastic.
Right. That's awesome. Is your guys' first MOBA?
Yes.
Not for me. I played League of Legends a bit, not a ton, mostly just against bots and all of that. But I got into that. I tried to get into Dota, Dota 2, I should say. Completely lost me with the courier thing. As soon as I discovered the courier, my head exploded, and I was like, I don't know what. There's a little pony. I can control it for some reason. People are yelling at me because I'm messing with it. If they didn't want me to mess with it, why can I mess with it? And I panicked, so I dropped group and uninstalled the game.
There it is.
As you are supposed to do if you play that poorly. Please quit, uninstall, move on. So that's what I did.
I think
that's actually pretty tame if they only say that. That's actually pretty tame.
True.
So you got off pretty easy, actually. That's not bad.
Yeah, well, one of the greater things about Heroes versus, like League and Dota and everything is the fact that it is so much more of a team-based game as opposed to those where it's like, you get the kill, you get the experience, and you could have one person on your team, that's way up in levels, and if you're not, then, well, obviously you're a horrible, horrible human being. But it's the fact that... everyone is supposed to be on the same team, but they're gunning for themselves the whole time. It doesn't mesh in my mind all that well. So the fact that, everything is objective based, and I mean, yeah, killing heroes and stuff helps a lot, but the fact that you're really working towards something fits a lot better with my gameplay than those other MOBAs do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's a great it's like that classic Blizzard mantra of easy to pick up, difficult to master. It's my first MOBA as well. And I was intimidated by League of Legends. You see this community and everything that's going crazy. Like, well, I don't want to be told to end my life and all this stuff like on day one. But with Heroes, it's like, oh, this makes sense. Oh, talents, right? Okay, so this is like in the shop where you would buy stuff in League. It's essentially the same thing, but with talents. Okay, cool, this or that. And then once you get into it and you're into it, then you got to master your skill shots and you got to figure this stuff out. So I think it's a huge win in that classic Blizzard mantra of easy to pick up and difficult to master. It did a great job.
I think they've done a really good job with the rollout too, because I know during the alpha, I felt at times like I was the only person I knew playing it. Occasionally we would get a group together, but it was kind of here and there. But I think they built up just enough of an audience to where then when they moved into the beta and started adding new heroes, it would generate just enough excitement that they would tell some people and then they would get in right around that time. And now, okay, here's some keys for you, and you could share it. And now it's at a point where all of a sudden, I don't feel like they've done anything massive to the game, but the interest level, at least in the community that I'm talking to, the people I deal with, the interest has just skyrocketed, and people are way into it all of a sudden, and I'm digging it because it's nice to be able to log in and see other people there and say, oh, hey, I'm going to play with that person or all of these people, and it is definitely more fun with friends.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things that you were talking about when we were first in the alpha. It's like, it's a great game, but there's nothing holding you to it. And I know, we've kind of talked about this before. We'll probably get to it later in the show as well, but you loved running Siege of Orgrimmar over and over and over and over again because of the people you're with. And now I'm seeing the same kind of, love and draw towards Heroes because, again, we're getting to that point where we're playing with those people and having fun versus, okay, well, I logged in, I did my 2 quests, and I'm done. That's it. When there was actually no real progression going in Heroes other than just, well, I guess I should do my quests. Now it's, who cares about the quest? Let's go ahead. Let's have fun. Let's play, as many games as we can till our eyes bleed and just master the whole thing.
Right. But the thing is, though, is it's great playing with your friends until they take your hero. Then you're like, wait, whoa. What are you doing? You're taking that's my hero. What are you doing? I got to change it up now? Like, what are you doing? That's no good.
This is where we need to get into the true Blizzard metagame, which is if 2 people try to take the same hero, a game of Hearthstone begins, and the winner gets that hero.
Excellent. I love it. Yeah, no, that's happened to me too. I get in with everybody and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do Rhaegar. I love Rhaegar. As soon as we pop in, someone else, Rhaegar. I'm like, oh, and then I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, oh, you're going to play Rhaegar? They're like, yeah, I'm playing Rhaegar. I'm like, Oh, great. I mean, I love Rhaegar too. I'm playing Rhaegar. Okay, great. You know, I mean, there's lots of other support here. I'm playing Rhaegar. All right, cool. All right. I'll try Falstad, you know, or something. So
Yeah, I've got
there
my
is that.
hierarchy.
There is that.
I'm totally, I'm at, I think 5 or 6 characters that I actually have. 3 of them I really like to play. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if those 3 are gone, I'm like, who's the free one? Okay.
Right, exactly.
Who's free right now?
I'll play
Yes,
Sonya. All right.
Sonya is kind of the definition of. Although every time I see Sonya out there in the field, she's tearing it up. So
She is. She's
Like-
destroying.
doing that little spin and all her health comes back, and I'm just like, apparently she's the best hero in the game, and I just always think of her as like the, like you got the Chimpokemon shoe, like
Right. The last picked on the kickball team, like,
Right.
oh, that's Sonya over there. Yeah, she
Oh,
never
yes.
gets picked. Right.
yeah, you got to play
Holocaust.
Sonya. Oh man,
Right. But it's good. They did a great job, man. It's great seeing so many more people getting in and more beta keys going out, and it's good stuff.
Oh, yeah. And
and
the next
speaking
week,
of, we're going to be giving out some beta keys tonight.
Ooh.
In fact, why don't you guys talk amongst yourselves? I will put the first one in the chat room right now.
Oh, okay. Cool. Sounds good. Awesome. Colt, anything else that you've been up to? Now, look, I've heard some rumors, and I hope they're not true. I mean, you might have even said so yourself. But again, I hope it's not true. I have heard that you kind of stopped playing the best ultimate class in World of Warcraft and switched to something else, like, a while ago. And I haven't had a chance to, talk to you to make sure that you're okay. I mean,
Right.
blink twice for help if you need.
No, he can't blink anymore, Ben.
That's the problem. Right. And I can't counter smell anymore. It's crazy. I can't blink or anything. It's crazy. Yes. I, after many years, and look, I bleed blue, right? I mean, I am a mage through and through. It was my very first class when I started WoW back in the vanilla days. And I'm sorry, in the classic days. I can't believe I just called it vanilla. I'm truly sorry.
It's okay. That's
But
what I call it.
I will always bleed blue. But yes, I did switch it up, and I'm now playing a Windwalker monk.
Yeah.
And
Welcome
yes.
to the winning team.
Yes. Well, now after they reverted some of the nerfs, we're in a little bit of trouble at the beginning of this. Beginning of Foundry, actually, we're in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but,
been an interesting road. But man, that first week in this
Oh.
expansion, what a week.
Oh, that was insane. That's right. Like, we did it, boys. Like, we are kings. Yeah, High Mall, when this expansion started, man, and you were a Windwalker monk, you were living life. It was like you were rolling deep, and your DPS was insane, and it was just amazing. It was just glorious. But yeah, I've been playing ranged forever. I've always been a ranged guy, and I just wanted to. It's gonna sound weird. I wanted to get up in there. Like, I don't know. That sounds strange, but like when you're always ranged, you're always in the back of the pack. What are those guys doing up there? They seem to do far less mechanics than I do as ranged. They just kind of DPS the boss. Like, how many times have we heard in a raid strat? All right, ranged, you guys, 2 people over here. When this happens, move here to the left. Melee, just burn the boss. Okay, great. So, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I want that job.
Don't give away our secrets.
Yes, I know. I shouldn't be saying this out loud, actually. That's true. But I have noticed as Melee, we do have far less mechanics, which is fantastic.
It's
Tech
amazing.
this.
It
Just one
really
word.
is.
Tech this.
And I love being able to DPS on the move. They kind of removed a lot of that stuff with ranged, where ranged classes now, you can't do as much on the move. You're kind of more turret, in a way.
Yeah.
So I really like that about Melee, is that you can just be constantly moving, constantly DPSing. And I love it, man. I've become obsessed with Melee now and Windwalker Monk. It's great.
Well, that's cool. I really can't give you too much crap because my number 1 alt is my Windwalker Monk. So
Yes, attaboy.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
not to the extent, but yes.
I mean, one day, Ben, you will wake up, you will see both classes sitting there, and you will realize that one is correct and the other is wrong, and you will
Right.
make the right choice.
Sure.
And when you do, we'll be here to welcome you with open arms. We're a loving community, Ben.
Absolutely. You don't want some old Arthurian knight to say, you have chosen poorly.
Yeah.
We know what happens there. We don't
Oh
want
yeah.
that. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Choose Windwalker. You'll be all right.
Okay. John, how about you? What have you been up to?
Oh man, Ben, I have been up to so much Heroes of the Storm. Has been my primary thing. I made it my goal. I tried a bunch of heroes because, just to kind of shift gears over there again real quick, they made all the heroes feel very unique. And I really like the way that you try it and one hero can feel totally different from the last one you played. So I went through and I was like, I'm going to try a whole bunch of them. I'm going to see who I like. And I really liked Thrall, and I didn't want to spend any money. So I said, I am going to earn Thrall through hard work and effort. And that is exactly what I did.
He would have wanted it that way.
Yeah, I mean, he said Loktar, friend, and I answered the call.
That's fantastic. So what do you think now that he's yours? What do you think of Thrall?
I don't know. Because
he's playing Tassadar.
So here's what happened. I unlocked Thrall, and I thought, okay, right, I'm going to finally take a break from the Church of Tassadar. I'm going to move on. I'm going to try Thrall. This is going to be great. I loaded it up. I was like, time for Thrall. There he is. Unlocked him. Little key spun. He did a Thrall dance. He was very excited. I was excited. Everybody was really excited. And Scott Johnson invited me into a group and took Thrall.
There it is. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. That's perfect.
And then you guys played a match of Hearthstone, and he won.
So as he would, I'm sure. I played Tassadar, which might surprise you to learn that I ultimately played Tassadar.
Wow, went with Tassadar there, huh?
Yeah, I looked at all the heroes and I thought, okay,
let's try this one.
I'm gonna go with this one. It has a large number underneath it. I'll go with that. The other night, we actually read the amount of games, because you can pull up and see who your top 3 heroes are, how many games you've played with them, who's your most played. And I said, well, I'm going to read mine in reverse order. And this is no longer true because I had to do a bunch of stuff I didn't want to do to achieve quests to get gold. But at the time, what it was is I said, my number 3 slot is empty. There is nothing there. I said, so my number 2 most played character is Raynor with 1 game. Number 1 character, Tassadar with 25 games played.
Wow!
So
no kidding, you are like through and through.
Yeah.
You are a Tassadar man.
I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to the cause.
So you got to, I mean, you have got to be level 10. Do you have your 10 master skin, all that jazz?
Not quite. I'm up to, I think I'm just about to hit 8.
Nice.
So I'm getting there. I'm pretty excited.
It slows down, right?
It does. I was shocked at how fast it quickly, pumps the brakes and says, slow down. Maybe you want to play another hero. It's like, no, I want my master skin.
Right.
I've played 25 games as this guy. I feel like I should be able to dress up a little nicer. So
Right.
we'll see. I really wanted the portrait. For whatever reason, I was like, you know what? It's important that when people see my picture in game, they see Tassadar. So that they know. To me, that's the equivalent of planting your flag and saying, look, this hero's mine. He's my picture.
Right.
You don't get any better ownership than he is my picture right now. So
Right. It's so funny you said that. I felt the same thing with Rhaegar. When I made that my portrait, I was like, yes, I am Rhaegar. This is me. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I want people to know that I am Rhaegar, so stop picking it and let me pick it.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I'm still using the stupid alpha picture, I think.
yeah, they didn't really dress that portrait up much, did they? They're like, what could we do for a really cool reward for people who were in the alpha? I know. What if it's a silhouette of a person with a alpha symbol in the middle?
I like that.
Let's go with that. Right.
What should we do
It was
for the
probably
beta?
guys, we got to get something out here. They're going to be pissed. We got to get something loaded up there now.
And then some guy popped up and said, what about the people in the beta? And he said, instead of the alpha symbol, what if we made it a B for beta?
Yes.
And then they
Brilliant.
threw their paperwork up and went home because it was the weekend.
That's right. There it is. Vegas, baby.
So I have played a little while though. I logged in. I have done garrison things. That seemed cool. Still, and we raided.
Yes, we did.
We downed some bosses.
How'd
Yes,
the
we
raid
did.
go?
Good.
We're still
We
in High
had-
Mall.
We're still
Getting there.
in High Mall.
That's cool.
And we had I was going to say we had a new tank, but he's actually our returning tank. He's just been gone so long that he feels like a brand new tank.
No, but we
Right.
did kind of have a new tank.
Yeah, we did. And we did really good for a tank that's been away and a tank that doesn't typically tank for us. You know, how many bosses did we down? We got to...
All about the last two.
Yeah, okay. So we had a pretty productive night. I got a bunch of gear that I'm finally hitting that point with the gear where I'm looking at it and I'm no longer just like, oh, the eye level is so much higher, I'm going to equip it. Now I'm actually getting to that point where I'm looking at it and I'm saying, I don't know if this is actually better, because when we downed Heroic Kargath, I got a chess piece from him. But if I equip it, it's a drop of like almost 150 multi-strike, which is my favorite stat. And so I don't know if that's necessarily better. I'm probably going to have to ask a robot of some kind. Perhaps a formal robot, like a Mr. Robot.
Right.
It's a good idea.
Just to get his opinion on the matter, because I looked at it and I was like, I don't know if it's worth, this bump in haste and, the 3 extra agility this item's going to give me. So I don't know. I'm actually hitting that point now where I'm actually thinking about gear, which is kind of a fun metagame, except everybody's off fighting trash and I'm just sitting there staring at the gear like, why can't I figure it out?
Right.
But yeah, it was fun. I had missed quite a few raid nights prior because just been so worn out from work and all that. So it was nice to finally have a night to go in and kind of kick back with everybody and have some fun.
That's great, man.
Speaking of gear and looking at it and trying to figure out, what to use and everything. So I'm so happy that reforging is gone. I think everybody's pretty much happy that reforging is gone. The fact that, you could gem and enchant, from your bank is great. So, if you actually do have a gem slot or, an enchanter in the group or whatever, you can equip that piece of gear right away. That's great. Everybody's happy about that. But the neat thing about the reforging and everything about not equipping the gear right away is that you could actually see if it was better or not, like for certain. Now it's just like, I think so. Switch. Oh, I tanked on that fight. Okay, let's switch again. So.
Well,
Right.
and that's the weirdest part about, because I caught myself and I had to really scold myself for this thought. Like, I felt like I needed to go into a church and talk to a priest or something, because I got that chess piece and I was like, man, it doesn't have any multi-strike on it. If only reforging was still in this game. And the moment I said that, I was like, no, what am I thinking? Shh, they'll hear you. They'll find out.
Right.
Stop. Just back away slowly. Go back.
Yeah, don't make me go over, or come over there and slap you. I will.
Yeah. That's when you're going to need an old priest and a young priest. Immediately. Yeah, that's no good. No, it's true. I mean, reforging, it was a funny thing. I remember Tom Chilton at BlizzCon. They made the announcement, no more reforging, and everybody cheered. Mm-hmm. And he said, it's so funny, when we announced reforging, everybody cheered. And then now, after it's been in the game a year or so later, we're now taking it out. But I mean, I really do love that freedom of, I get a piece of gear, I can actually equip it, and I don't have to wait till the end of the raid night or wait till break. And then rather than take a break, you run to the auction house, you try and reforge it, get your enchants and everything, and then run back, and you never get a break, Mm-hmm. So I do like that idea of it. But no, you're right. You're looking at these stats, and it's like, well, there's no multi-strike. There's critical strike and versatility. Well, versatility's good, I guess, but it's not my main stat. And, so there is that dance. But ultimately, it's so much better being able to just equip something right away than how it used to be, for sure.
Well, now the problem is that you can't transmog it right away. So, just totally clashes with the rest of your gear. And that's an issue.
Well, they have that mount. There's a mount.
The yak.
And someone on our raid team does, and I might have been guilty of actually, transmogging in the middle of a raid when, we were on break or waiting to pull trash or something, and
Oh,
John, I know you've done it too.
Oh, yeah. I cannot stand when my character doesn't look right. I just put on a piece of gear. I'm like, all right. Oh, this won't do at all. No, we're going to fix that. So, I need a yak. Somebody.
I got to tell you, the yak being able, the transmogrifier, like being mobile, like on the mount. So at BlizzCon 2 years ago, Summer Sal, right? Sal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all know Sal. And she came back from backstage. She had like a press pass, I think, or something like that. So she was backstage. And she's telling us this story where she was sitting there and the developers were nearby. And she asked one of the guys, she goes, so you guys just announced you're removing reforging. What are you going to do with that vendor that's on the yak? And he said all of them were like, oh my gosh, we never even like thought about that. Like, you're absolutely right. And she said, what if you made it like a transmog? And they were like, oh, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we should do that. And they're like, yeah. And then someone was like, no. We need to write this down and talk about it. Don't just say we're going to make it transmog. Because someone was like, we should announce that. They're like, no. We got to like, make sure it's cool. So when they announce it's going to be transmog, that all goes to Summer Sal. Because I was there and she was just talking about it. She suggested it to them and they were like, oh my gosh. So anyway, I thought that was a really cool thing.
I just like the idea that they're all sitting around and what about the yak mount and the vendor on there? And they're just like, why didn't we think about the yak?
Right, exactly. Oh, the yak. Yeah. Well, they do have a lot on their minds and a lot going on, but yeah, that
I'll
didn't
have to
occur.
say, Summer Sal, that is some alpha beta portrait thinking there. Good job.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Absolutely.
Ben, what have you been doing?
Well, we went to raid.
That
talked
did
about that.
happen.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yep.
I
Killed some
played
stuff.
a small role in
No,
that.
you were a good roll. You're rolling. You're a monk, so that happened.
Yeah, I did that. I achieved that. I returned to. I shouldn't admit this while Koltrane's on the show.
Uh-oh.
Ignoring Trash John may have reared his ugly head during the raid last night. I found one of the hallways where it's the ogres that do all they put the clouds on the ground that you can't stand in, and then people erupt, and it's a tight little hallway. And to me, that's Blizzard's way of just saying they don't want me to participate in the fight. Like, I can't even get down that hallway without getting hit by something, so I just said, they got it. And I walked over, and in the corner, there's this skeleton just, like, propped up against a wall, just sitting there, like he was just sitting there all day and then died and turned into bones. So I just went down and sat down next to him for a while.
That's fantastic.
That works.
That's good.
Nobody noticed. Turns out if you're sitting next to a skeleton, you are well concealed. Nobody knows you're not participating.
You just think you're part of the scenery at that point.
Yeah, well, where's John? I see a skeleton, but I don't.
Sometimes I'll just throw my clones out there and they're doing stuff so it looks like I'm active, but I'm actually not. I just got my Storm, Earth, and Fire guy. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Yeah, no, you have fun. I'll be over here.
I totally do that too.
Yeah,
I love it. And my favorite is so the best part was the trash leading up to General Nazgrim. The guys who do the whirlwind, and if you get in there, you get hit by them, and you got to stun them. I was like, I'm not bothering with this mechanic at all. Clones go, and I would just stand back with the healers and spinning crane kick back there. And I just see numbers down there at the base going off, and I'm just like, I'm helping. It's not a lot of DPS, but it's more than you would be getting if I was dead or having to dodge these guys. So you know.
You avoid the repair bill. You're still helping out the group. You kick back. It's fantastic.
It's also because if you send out your clones, you look like one of them. So in LFR, it's a good way to stand where you're not supposed to stand, and people won't call you out on it because they just think it's just one of the clones. It's fine.
Right.
And I was standing where I shouldn't have been, but what are my clones doing over there? The clones, they're such a problem.
Right. These clones, they get crazy. I've had that too, where they're like, Colt, stop DPSing this. I'm like, it's not me, it's my clone.
Roll away.
No, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. The greatest thing they've added to the game. I love those clones.
Koltrane, mages had clones. They were called mirror images.
Yes. No, you're right. You're right. But they weren't
They didn't have the
translucent.
versatility.
I know, they weren't nearly as cool.
And you can't sit on your butt and not do anything. Although they do cast. They do cast. I do. I miss the mage. I got to admit. You know, I bleed blue. Like, mage is best class in the game. But I got to tell you, Windwalker, pretty decent. Pretty decent.
John, it's funny that you mentioned that hallway because I totally forgot about something that happened last night. It was great. So we just finished Tectis, and we were heading towards the Twin Ogron, whatever they are. And, you know, we're going down that staircase, and then there's the ogres that are in front of the staircase up to the portal. Well, one of our healers, Zodder, was standing up on the ledge, and I'm like, oh, that's really smart. He's not going to get hit by the thing down there, or up there. So I said, hey, I'm going to stand with you because, you know, you're up there all by yourself and you can still hit things. He's like, oh, no, I stand up here so that I don't get, you know, I don't have to worry about it. They never target me. It's great. I'm like, cool. Well, I'm going to stand next to you just so they'll target me and then you'll have to move. You know, what are the odds of that's actually going to happen? So I run up there, I figure out how to get there. You know, they're still fighting trash. I'm exploring and I'm like, hey, standing next to him. The instant I get next to him, guess who gets targeted for the rune? Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Made him jump off and everything.
Guy.
He just like, oh. I was happy. It made my night.
Every raid night, when I get that arcane charge that when you erupt, you send everybody flying, I go looking for you, and I can never find you when I get it. And I felt kind of bad last night because I thought I saw you, and it was a different mage, and they were in amongst everybody, because usually you're off on like the outskirts of the room. So if I, you know, blow you up and send you flying somewhere, I don't feel that bad. I'm just like, ha, got Ben, finally. Showed that guy. But this time I was like, oh, he's in the middle of the group. I shouldn't do this. Oh, well, forget it. I ran in and I sent almost everybody on the raid team flying everywhere.
That's awesome.
That was pretty magnificent.
Yeah.
That's a good raider. That's a good raider right there. You were doing it right.
Don't tell him that.
I encourage
time.
this behavior at all times. This is fantastic. Yes.
So yeah, if I ever get that bed, I mean, you already knew because you. Oh yeah. You said, "John, I see you." That one time when I was turned around, I was like, "Ah, there he is!"
Running it was great. He's running right towards me. I'm like, ugh, blink.
Here he comes. Gosh, he's been after me the whole fight. Right. Oh.
Yeah, but
it's good for raid awareness. You know, you got to have John awareness.
Yeah, I have years and years of that experience, so I know better.
You're good to go.
I feel like the raid mechanics are there to make for entertaining opportunities for us as a raid team, and mostly for me.
Yeah. I mean, you need to be entertained. Otherwise, what are we doing there, right?
Exactly. If I'm not having fun, we might as well all just quit.
Great.
What was the raid that we used to run where people would get mind controlled and I would successful kill them?
Zolomon, and you killed a Dahi every single time you were in there.
So
every time.
This is the other thing. Back in the day, Ben and I used to be on the telephone while we raided.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'd be on the phone as well as Ventrilo.
This was important because sometimes we had to have private discussions aside from what other people could hear.
John would get mad. Very, very mad.
Ben had to hear the insane cackling glee that would come out every time I got mind controlled and successfully killed one of our raid team members. Yeah. Or if they got mind controlled and I would do an immediate about face and unleash every cooldown I possibly had to try and take them down as much as possible. And we had one healer, I'll give him a shout out, Adahi, who I think every time we raided that instance, I think I successfully killed him. And it was the most fun ever. I
got to tell you, John, you're an inspiration. You are an inspiration, sir. I got to tell you. It's fantastic. The dedication, the focus. You need to be one of those like motivational like posters. It's like a picture of you and then that healer, Adahi.
Yeah.
Like fully commit, never give up. You know, it's fantastic.
Yes, exactly.
John can't truly live unless he is dead.
That's right. Exactly. It's perfect.
Oh yeah.
That's fun. Intense.
That's how you have fun raiding, everybody. Just some more raid tips from John.
There it is.
Never follow those. Never. So yeah, other than that, been collecting and leveling pets, doing that stuff. We already talked a little bit about Heroes of the Storm. Last but not least, I've been playing a lot of Mass Effect again. I'm still in Mass Effect 2. Absolutely love the game. It's, second playthrough overall because I played it years ago when it first came out. And John, I think you'll appreciate this. And Colt, have you played the Mass Effect games at all?
Yes. Incredible games.
So then you know exactly why. Okay. I'm playing through as a renegade this time, mostly.
He's
so,
trying.
Mass Effect 1, I went ahead and I pulled the trigger, killed Rex. Because, I'm trying to get my favorite character to live in the 3 at the end. So, long story short, I'm kind of being a jerk. Mostly, I'm still being nice and doing missions. And, the people that I really like, I'm really nice to them. Everyone else, not as much. So, right. Okay, I'm at the point where, you go through your first wave of people, you get all of them, and now you're collecting your second wave of people and, doing loyalty missions and everything like that. So I haven't gone to do the Reaper IFF yet because I want to, get through as much as I can so that, I can progress it how I want to. So I have Tally on my ship. She came up to me and said, blah, 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 here's the loyalty mission. I'm like, great, we're going to put you on hold and I'm going to wait to do yours until I get Legion. Because what better thing to do if you're trying to be a jerk than to bring Legion on board to the flotilla with Tally for her loyalty mission. So I'm really looking forward to getting that done.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. That's so awesome. The game's so great. It's so great. There's so many things you can do and the different. It's just so brilliant. Everything about it. Like that whole series is just incredible.
Yeah, and
you should feel bad.
I do.
Tally is a sweet, innocent, unassuming girl.
Yes.
Her people have had much hardship. Yeah. And you're about to just flaunt their creation. Be like, hey, everybody, I brought a Geth aboard. Look at me.
Right.
I'm Happy Time Shepherd. Happy times for everybody.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Old Man Franks is saying some stuff in the chat room that might have some side effects.
No, we'll be fine.
You do.
We'll be fine.
You do that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
Nothing'll happen. Nothing'll happen.
You know what? That's okay, OMF. I'll be fine. Because in all honesty, I just want to see what's going to happen when that happens. Because, my mind is raced to really fun things of like, oh, they're going to call me out on being a total, jerk to everybody. I'm really looking forward to that and see what happens. So I might just go ahead and save beforehand just in case it does cut off my time so that I can't do his and her loyalty missions after the IFF. So we'll see what happens. But
I will tell you this, Ben. And we're going to get into some Mass Effect behind the scenes here. Also some minor spoilers for 2.
Okay.
Potential spoilers, like it's stuff that may or may not happen, so I don't know if you consider this a spoiler or not, because it might not even happen. But the way it ranks who survives in that final outcome, everybody has a behind-the-scenes dice roll survivability meter. We'll just say Morden has the lowest. So if you are not successful in achieving everything to prevent someone from dying in that scenario, the likelihood that Morden will die in that process is very high, which means that your reason for maybe killing Rex in 1 would be for nothing.
No, I know what I'm doing, John.
Okay.
This is a great game.
If you stay,
this is fantastic.
No. If you send Morden with the people back to the ship, he'll live. That just happens.
That is true.
So
but
I got that covered.
Saying, if you liquefy Kelly Chambers, I will end you.
Oh, that's fine.
So,
look, she's the reason for the what is it the scale or what was that
the
disease?
Scale itch.
Yeah, the scale itch that's aboard the ship.
The weird animal STD that's plaguing the Normandy in 3.
Yep, it's her fault. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows it was Kelly.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. So I know I saved Kelly Chambers in 2, and she's supposed to pop up in 3 in a certain place. I've never seen her. She never popped up in my game.
And then she randomly gets murdered.
The game must have assumed that I liquefied Kelly. So sorry, Kelly. You got replaced by someone way better who was way into oral hygiene. So there you go.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the news. News! Wow, Koltrane, your face is like scared.
I love the bum, 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 bum. That's fantastic.
Good. Okay, so we had a show last week on Friday, and of course that means that Saturday news came out.
Yeah. That's how news works.
I really wish that they would have waited, at least a couple days. So it wouldn't be right after we could have talked about it. But if you haven't seen and you have been running through raiding and doing BlackRock and getting gear from BlackRock missions from your followers, well, guess what? Your gear just got an upgrade because Blizzard, their logic behind this actually works. They raised all the item levels by, about 5 or 10 points or so from all the BlackRock gear. So, LFR, normal, heroic, mythic, all of it just whoop. Congratulations, you got an upgrade.
My shoulders got upgraded.
Congratulations!
I think it was shoulders I got. I don't know. Something my Garrison followers got me.
Yeah, my belt
Like,
got
thanks,
an upgrade.
guys.
Woo! I got a new belt buckle and everything. It's got a skull on it. It's kind of weird looking.
Sweet. Skulls are cool, man. Your mage is so metal.
Oh, totally.
So metal. So metal.
Yeah, now, one of the big reasons why they did this is because the, half-tier step from High Mall to BlackRock was at the point where gear upgrades really weren't that much of an upgrade because of the item level difference. So, let's say you're going through High Mall and, whatever difficulty you're on, like let's say you're doing Heroic. You go into BlackRock, well, guess what? If you're on Normal, the gear's not really going to be much of an upgrade, if anything at all. If you're on Heroic, it's still not much of an upgrade. So the feeling of power and of improvement and, the fact that everything is all about loot in raiding and stuff like that, it kind of made it feel kind of bleh. So Blizzard did, in my opinion, a really great thing and bumped up those levels to really help out that feeling, to give you a sense of progression and, that extra feeling of power. Now, Colt, I know that you're actually raiding BlackRock. Did you see this disparity between the item levels before they actually did the upgrade?
Yeah, it was a funny thing. When you get into a new raid zone, new raid instance, and if actually the actual tier, you want to equip that new gear. You kill these new bosses, you get this cool new loot. You want to equip it. You don't want to look at this new loot and go, well, what I'm wearing is pretty much the same. And, maybe this is better, but I like my itemization on my old stuff. So, no, I'm not going to take this new loot because my High Mall loot is pretty much just as good. And that's not a good thing at all. Like, you want to have that sense because, like you said, it's all about the loot. And when you get that loot, that new boss, you want to equip it. Here's my new gear, my new weapons, my new shoulders, my new metal skull belt, and you want to put it on because you feel more powerful and awesome. So we had a big issue in our raid team where a lot of these guys were passing on all of this BlackRock Foundry loot. And it was a constant thing and a constant problem because their current items from High Mall was just better. The itemization might have been better. It had more multi-strike or more crit or something like that. So there wasn't that big eye-level jump that made you want to have that new gear. So I'm really happy that they're doing this. Now all of the raiders that passed on that loot are now cursing and upset because they passed out and missed out on all this great loot. So, a new eye-level increase solves so many things with the raiding community. Not just this eye-level disparity, but also it's more power. You'll be able to down bosses easier. It's going to, in somewhat, nerf some of the encounters a little bit in a way. I kind of like this new thing that Blizzard has been doing with these past expansions. They used to nerf the raids. Well, rather than nerf the raids, they buff the player. So that's a very good thing. You're accomplishing the same thing, but people like the idea of buffs, doing more damage, more this, more that, versus, well, now he, has 10% less health, and he doesn't feel as epic when you kill him. So
yeah,
I think it's a good thing.
It's one of the reasons why I still like to go into ICC because, my normal Arcane Blast hits for 700,000. Yay.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's insane. But everybody loves that loot, man. You got to love that loot. And if now we get more damage and and better loot in that Blackrock Foundry, that's nothing but a positive. I can't really see any negatives with this.
Well, and I'm sure you probably experienced this to some degree too, because you have been playing the journey that has been the Windwalker Monk this expansion,
Yes.
which was, we started really strong, they started nerfing, and at the same time I'm getting better gear, and so it's kind of this thing is happening at the same time. And so it's been a really weird expansion for me as a monk, because I don't feel like I have gotten stronger through the thing. I'm like, felt really good at first. Now I kind of feel maybe like I'm almost there again, maybe, but I've, upped my eye levels by 27, something
Right. crazy.
You're like, I want to feel really strong. So I think giving a bigger boost on the gear kind of helps with that feeling too, where it's like, okay, well, now I'm feeling like I'm getting back into it and getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, it's a funny thing too. Especially in regards to Windwalkers, we had a big problem with Blackrock Foundry with kind of scaling. So we were doing in high mall like 30k DPS, and that was like huge. We were like top 1 or top 2 DPS at 30k, and then we get into Blackrock Foundry, and we've all got this new gear, but so does everybody else. So now we've all got the same gear, but now they're doing 40 and 50k, and I'm still doing 30.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing the same DPS I was, but now everyone else is doing 50, and some of these warlocks I saw were doing like 60k. So all of a sudden, boom, we dropped way, way down. And of course, this had to do a lot with the nerfs and also the fights themselves. Mm-hmm. High Mall is brilliant for Windwalkers because we're the kings of Cleave, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have those ads that stay alive for a long time so we can throw our clones out and just keep doing this amazing DPS. But in Blackrock Foundry, the majority of the fights, believe it or not, are single target. And even fights like Beast Lord, where there's a ton of ads, the ads die so quick that we don't have enough global cooldowns to get our clones out there, that by the time we set up our AoE, everything's dead, and we've got no DPS. So it's been a struggle for monks, but now they kind of reverted some of these nerfs, and now we're looking strong. Now we're back kind of up there in that top 3 or 4. Not really dominating at 1, but I'd say top 1, 2, and 3. It's been good. So we're doing better.
John,
Yes.
you like punching stuff?
I love punching stuff. That's why I play Monk, Ben.
Do you like punching stuff with a higher item level?
Yeah. If my item level's high, then you gonna die. Like,
Boom.
the monk mantra right
mic
there.
drop. Right there it is. It's the
Yeah,
monk mic drop right there.
One of the reasons I'm asking is because there is a little bit of back and forth going on in the chat room. Shenanigans said that excuse me for parsing words here, but it said essentially that the reason that it was an upgrade was to nerf the content as opposed to giving the morale boost, the more power and everything like that. And whatever Blizzard really wants to call it, whatever people see it as, it doesn't really matter, because no matter what they say, the same thing is accomplished, whether it's them, buffing the raiders, or giving people a better feel, giving more diverse gear between the 2 different levels. It doesn't matter. It accomplishes the same thing, which is getting people through the content and, helping out those raid teams in a way that doesn't destroy the mechanics and everything else, I guess. So I'm happy with what's going on.
Yeah,
Go ahead, John. Sorry.
I was just going to say, we've seen Blizzard do all sorts of things, whether it's, hey, you're just going to get a buff for going in and that's going to make you stronger, or we're going to buff the classes, or we're going to nerf the enemies, or we're going to give better gear. There's a million different ways they can change the power structure of a given raid. And, I think they experiment with them. They go with whatever feels the most appropriate to the content at the time. And I think overall, if people ultimately have a better time with it, if more people get access to it, then it doesn't really matter how they do it. It's that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I got to tell you too, there's a part of me, absolutely, I completely agree with Shenanigans in the chat room. They also needed to nerf this content a little bit. And I think here's why. This stuff's pretty hard. This mythic stuff, all of us have all cried about, we want harder raids. We want harder content, harder. Blizzard said, all right, here's mythic. And here we are in mythic, and all these high-end guilds are only like 2 out of 10 mythic right now in Foundry, or 3 out of 10, 4, maybe 5. They're not as far progressed, and they're falling apart. They're leaving. Because there's 2 big reasons, I think. One, the content's very difficult, right? So when you're wiping on a boss, I don't care if you're the world's greatest moral raider, you're going to get discouraged. If you keep wiping over and over again, you can't help but get discouraged. So that hurts morality. 2, these raids are a lot about personal responsibility, and one guy can actually literally screw it up for the whole raid. You can successfully wipe on Blackhand even. Those little mines up front, I can walk over one mine and kill like 3 people, and then it's like a wipe, just because I make one mistake. Like, whoops, and that's it. And that's bad for morale. That's more wipes. It's a funny thing that's kind of been happening now is that a lot of these high-end guilds are splitting apart left and right. And so I think nerfing this content by buffing the player is actually a really good thing, because even though we scream and cry that we want harder stuff, we also want to kill bosses, and we want to make progress, and we want to feel progress. Because at the end of the week, you're going to look at your count. I'm 3 out of 10 mythic. Well, we're only at 3 out of 10. We've been working so hard, and we're only at 3. This is ridiculous. What am I doing? I hate WoW. I hate raiding. So I don't know. That's just kind of what I've been finding a little bit from talking to some of these more high-end guys. So I think that this eye level boost nerfing the raids is going to be a good thing all around. And I don't know. We'll see what happens, of course, because it just went in. But I think it's going to be a good thing. More loot, man. People want to kill bosses.
Yeah, in 2 more weeks, they're going to buff it by another 20 item levels. Done.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's a funny thing. And one more thing Shenanigans said was the guys, Blizzard, gave us what we wanted, and now we're upset. And that's, that's an unfortunate thing. That's how the community is. Community says, we want this, we want that. And then Blizzard says, okay. And they go, wow, we hate this. What have you done, Blizz? So.
Well,
I mean,
let me correct you on
that.
Cole.
To be mad at everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
The vocal majority, which is like 3 people, said that they wanted it, a lot harder. Then they got what they wanted. Then another 3 people are like, it's too hard. And yeah, you're absolutely right, though, because there was a lot of, just fury for harder content. I mean, it was coming from all different sides, from, heroic raiders, people running LFR, any sort of aspect of the game. Everybody wants harder content because it seems to me like they forget the entire cycle of the game. So expansion hits, guess what? Heroics are really freaking hard. You have, an insanely hard time trying to get through them. You go through, you get some more gear, you level, everybody actually knows the mechanics. Hey, heroics are super easy. Guess what? That's what they're going to remember at the end of the expansion. Next expansion hits, we walk into heroics, guess what? We're going to get our butts handed to us again. And there's this balance of memory versus, want that a lot of the common players... Okay, common players is wrong, but you know what I mean. That a lot of the fan base and everything, they don't forget, or they don't remember that the cycle just keeps going through. So next year's harder content, it might be harder than what we have, but that's because we've learned how to deal with it, and then we'll just learn how to deal with that stuff as well. So it's just...
And also it's on Blizzard to kind of know when to listen versus when to tone people out, because I saw when they announced that they were doing this eye level boost, it did not hit on Tuesday, which is when typically they do their patches or their updates and things like that. And they said it's actually not going to be coming on Tuesday. I think it was Wednesday that it ultimately happened. But anyway, it wasn't Tuesday. And immediately people got on the forums and they're like, our raid team runs on Tuesday. Thanks for screwing us over, Blizzard. And it's like, what did you want that? Like, their answer was, it's not coming out Tuesday because it's not ready yet. So they had 2 options. Release it on Wednesday when it's ready, in which case your Tuesday running raid team wouldn't benefit from it, but anybody else later in the week would. Or say, well, we didn't make this Tuesday, we'll make it next Tuesday, in which case your Tuesday running raid team wouldn't benefit from it again anyway, and now nobody else would. Like, their situation would not have changed. There was no scenario where that situation was different for them. No real scenario. Like their made up one where it was, no, it should have just been ready even though it wasn't. Like that's the only scenario that really worked for them. So, I mean, that's the kind of things that people on the internet like to argue about, and that's the kind of things that, you know, we and Blizzard should just kind of go, what's wrong with you people? And just move on and just
right.
Just shake your head at the lack of logic and walk away.
Yeah, because they must go through pages and pages and pages of this stuff, you know, on a daily basis. So, I mean, I actually got a chance to go down to Blizzard and actually meet the community managers, and they kind of took us down there for like a day in the life of kind of what they do every day. And it blew my mind, man, because every single day these CMs go through pretty much every forum post, every tweet. They read everything from the community, and they try and, you know, shuffle away the bad and try to get to actual constructive feedback, and then communicate that with the developers. And it's insane. And it's all like, they got these charts and like, we covered this today, we went through this, we went through these forums, and it's amazing what they go through on a daily basis. And also just trying to weed through the like, oh, clearly Blizzard hates mages. Like, well, rather than say that, what don't you like about mages? What would you like changed? Or like, I wish WoW was like it used to be. Okay, well, what about how WoW was? Would you like to see again? You know what I mean? Like, There's a difference between constructive feedback and just like, meh, you know? So they go through a lot of stuff each day.
Is it bad that I thought when you said that you did, you know, kind of the day of a life of a CM, that they just put you in a room and started yelling at you all day? Right. Like, I was just worried about that. I'm like, oh.
That's pretty much what it was. Yes, you're just getting yelled at. They throw tomatoes at you. They like tar and feather you. It's insane. It's really hardcore what they deal with.
Turns out you actually went to Blizzard. I initially just thought you got arrested and interrogated. And you were like, oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's pretty much it. But I think that's the nice thing. Like, and it's always funny because you hear the people saying like, Blizzard doesn't care about the community. They ignore us. Our voices aren't being heard. And Blizzard will respond to them. And you see these people where they are saying things like that Tuesday thing, where again, like, there is no universe where that person's logic makes any sense, at least no universe that functions the way ours does. But Blizzard gave them a response. They wrote back and said, well, you know, it wasn't ready. It's going to be ready at this point. We've decided to put it out then. Like, and they are taking these people that are being insanely irrational, and they're giving them feedback and responding to their issue. And of course, they're not going to get any thanks for that. Like, nobody's going to acknowledge and say, like, oh, you know what? I was being really absolutely out of my mind insane, but thank you for taking the time to rationally speak to me because I'm out of control. Someone needed to stop me. So I appreciate that from what they do. You know, they have to talk to some people that are just possibly from another planet.
They play the game as well. They love the game as well. They want it to succeed and do well just as much as we do. They're just as passionate. I mean, they work at Blizzard. They're just as passionate about this game as we are. You know what I mean? So I think we all want the same thing, but you know, we passionate community, we get upset and we want to yell and scream sometimes.
Yep, they're just not passionate about mages. We know that.
That's right. That's right. But you know, it's a lot of angry yelling, much like you two for the past 2 years. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Like you guys yelling at each other, the constant stuff. I mean, before we started rolling on the show tonight, it was, I mean, outrageous. You guys should really try and get some therapy, maybe work this out. I think you're not communicating right, you know?
Right.
Both have feelings.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just nice.
I thought that's how people communicate.
No, that's not normal.
Roll up a piece of paper and scream into it as loud as I possibly can.
Right, exactly. That was, yeah, no, that's not normal, usually.
Hey, Koltrane? Could you tell John that I'm sorry?
Right. Well, you have to write it onto a piece of paper, and then he will read it and then scream into it. But hopefully this time he won't scream. He'll say, thank you.
The little piece of paper says, do you forgive me? Check yes or no.
Right.
Or
check
maybe.
Box.
Maybe.
Exactly.
It's the way all our forum posts should be. Are you happy with the state of WoW? Check yes or no or maybe.
Done.
Perfect.
Okay, I have submitted my Blizzard feedback for the day. Now they know.
All right. Well, hey, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and take a seat at the round table. Shut it!
Round table.
And welcome to the round table, where we discuss in depth the issues that mean the most to us, the players. This week we. I seriously can't believe I'm reading this, John. Okay. We basked in the glory of our 2-year anniversary and forgot to grab a topic. So we did what any responsible pair of podcasters would do. We asked our guest. He didn't know, so he turned to Twitter and just take a look at what we found. I can't even read correctly. Anyways.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
But that's what happens when you ask me to read the intro.
Mm-hmm. Or write
It's
it.
all right there, Ben.
Yeah, I know. It is. So, Koltrane, you did an amazing thing, and because of the Heroes of the Storm love that we have, you brought up a tweet that Halinka said. So, feel free if you want to kind of toss it out there, intro it, do whatever you want, or...
Sure. So Brian Halinka, he's the lead kind of PvP guy on World of Warcraft. He made a tweet that caused a little bit of controversy, ended up on MMO Champion, the front page, and the tweet was this: do you play WoW Storm, but you don't PvP in WoW? I'd love to hear why. That's the question he posed. So that's the thing, is like, do you play WoW? And I think all of us, the three of us, yes, we do.
Hope so.
Yep.
Do we
Checks
play
out.
Heroes? Yes. Do we play Heroes of the Storm? Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Do we
also-
PvP in WoW? No, we do not.
Absolutely not.
That's right. So I think the three of us are perfect people to answer this very question. So John, you play WoW, you play Heroes of the Storm, but you do not PvP in World of Warcraft. Why is that?
So I think for me, the answer just kind of comes down to the complexity of the systems. You know, with Heroes of the Storm, you get in, you know it's going to be a competitive game. Like you are logging in for that purpose, and maybe it's against the computer, which I think we'll get to that in a minute. And that's, I think, one of the primary things there is it is PvP, but there's also a PvE element to it as well. But you know you're getting into this competitive head-to-head game, so you've already kind of gotten yourself in the mindset of it. It's not logging into a world and saying, what do I want to do today? And you also have fewer skills. You know, the Heroes of the Storm, you've got, what is it, about 4 or 5, depending on the character. That's all you really have to learn. You have to learn how those systems work with other heroes, and there's a lot to learn. It does fall under, you know, typical Blizzard fashion of it. There's depth to it. It seems real easy, but there's a lot there. So for me, you get in and it's like, okay, well, I understand how this works, and I understand how this works together, and you start to see those patterns, and it's just a little thing. With WoW, you get in and you have to say, okay, well, what spec would be best for PvP? You know, if you're one that does multiple DPS specs, okay, is there one that's designed for PvP? Which they've tried to kind of remove that mentality, but I think most rogues would still say, like, hey, you should probably play subtlety if you want a PvP.
Yeah.
Or at least that was the case when I was playing my rogue last, which has been a while. But you know, so you have to learn that, and then you have to learn all the skills associated with it, especially if it's not what you play primarily. So you might have to actually be learning 2 specs in this case, because this is what I play when I raid, and this is what I play when I PvP. And I need to keep track of all these skills, and it's going to fill up 2 hotbars as well as these hotbars over here on the side. And, oh, I'm going to need different gear for my PvP, because that's going to change. And I should probably equip that. And it's going to be just a mass of humanity and damage and stuns and all sorts of weird stuff happening to me at once. And it's super complicated. And I'm sure there are PvPers out there that are saying, it's not as complicated as you think. That might be. From my perspective, as somebody who hasn't done it in a really long time, it is intimidating. And it's something where it's like, I don't want to take the time to learn all that. But you look at Heroes and I could take the time to learn how these 5 skills work and, you know, just point and click my way around a map and use them. And I think that plays probably the biggest role for me.
That's a great answer. That makes a ton of sense. That makes perfect sense. Ben, what about you, man?
I agree with John. No.
All right, we're going home.
Mic drop. Right.
I was thinking about it while he was, mentioning everything, and everything he says is true. I mean, I play mage mostly. When I go into PvP, yeah, I tend to just blow stuff up from afar and hope a rogue doesn't get me, or another mage will silence me and then kill me or something. Whatever. And then I started thinking about what the actual content for PvP is versus like Heroes of the Storm. Granted, Arena I don't think really counts because that's essentially just deathmatch. Heroes of the Storm is definitely not that. The rest of the rated battlegrounds and everything, there's actually more to do, but it's still so much more of like a singular focus of, either defend this thing or attack this thing and kill a whole bunch of other people. While Heroes is kind of like that. It really feels like there's more strategy to it, depending on what heroes are actually on your team. I mean, you're limited to 5. Depending on what map you get, it really depends on how you're going to be playing that hero. For the Cursed Hollow, you want to get those tributes, whereas for the Haunted Mines, you want to go down, kill the things, get all the skulls, defend your golem. I mean, there's so many different modes of gameplay and so much more diversity in there than just go in and kill everything you see and hope you win, which, I mean, granted, I'm sure there's more strategy in Battlegrounds and Arena and everything like that, but as someone who doesn't really enjoy that level of interaction in WoW, I find it incredibly stimulating in Heroes because of, the smaller rotations, like John was saying. You don't have 100,000 different abilities. You have talents that you choose from, but you kind of know going in what you're going to be looking for that build, and you have a team objective to go in and just destroy the other team with all these other things going on at the same time. So, how about you, Colt?
Well, no, it's an interesting point, too. I mean, to speak to both of your guys' points, the simplification of you've only got 4, maybe 5 abilities, very short. Those are very easy to learn and master. Also, like you said, you've only got like 5 heroes, and your focus is on these other heroes. I know that if I'm in there and then there's like a Sergeant Hammer, well, they'll be able to wail from long range, but he'll do more damage if the enemy's far away. So I want to body block or make sure nobody gets near him. Or I can know that a Stitches can hook somebody in, and Uther can lay down his stun, and then we've got an Illidan that can chase him down if he runs, because he can leap and kill him and blah, blah, blah. So it's because it's so much simpler, you can focus on the objectives of the map, but also on the heroes and the heroes' abilities and their synergy between the two. So the simplification is a great point. For me, too, I know when I get into a fight, I am on equal level with my opponent, at least at the beginning. As you gain levels as a team, you'll grant more power, but I know that if I'm going in there as Rhaegar and I see Illidan in front of me and he's coming at me, I know that he doesn't have a huge gear advantage over me. Now, in World of Warcraft, they've kind of changed a lot of the PvP, and the gear thing isn't as huge. It could be an old school mindset that, like, the first thing I think of is, okay, I want to do WoW PvP. Okay, my very first thought is, all right, what gear do I need to get first? Okay, do I need to get like honor points first and then get gear so I can PvP? Well, no, I hear that now you don't have to do that anymore. Oh, okay, well, but I need gear, right? Because I'm trying to kill this guy and I can't do it because he's got so much better gear. So that kind of even playing level, I think, is a good thing. Guild Wars 2, their PvP system, at least from day one, I don't know about it now, but their PvP gear was completely for aesthetics. Every single person was on an even playing field, essentially. So when you were, doing PvP and you were getting gear, it was more for how cool you looked. PlanetSide 2, what was kind of neat is as your guy would level up, his armor would change color. He would get a lot more red, So I knew when I'm on a battlefield, I'm kind of even against this guy somewhat. But if he's really red, I know just by looking at him, he's super hardcore. He's really good. He's really good. And I respect that more because I know he's a good player and it's about skill. Not that, oh my gosh, he's got the world's best gear. I could be the greatest player in the world, but no matter what I do, I'm barely going to do any damage to him and he's going to one-shot me. It's kind of that gear thing as well. So I don't know. Go ahead.
I think you bring up a really good topic, kind of point to this, which is the power fantasy. people will refer to in a video game, which is that level of progression, that feeling of like, man, this thing was really beating me down before, but now I'm so much stronger than it. I walk all over it. And with PvP, it's a tricky area because you're fighting other players, and you don't want one side to feel completely worthless while another side feels great, but at the same time, like, you want to have some reward and some incentive. And so I think the difference is with Heroes of the Storm, there is that level playing field. We are the heroes. Like, you've got all the little minions running around, and you just knock them aside like they're nothing, and you feel like that's contributing to the group. All as Tassadar, I'll put down my little field and I'll watch them all lose their health down to about half from it. It's just like, I did that. That was me. That was Tassadar. Hello, everybody. I'll be hanging out in this lane.
Right.
With PvP, I feel like Blizzard actually takes it in the opposite direction, where I go from feeling like this super heroic character of, I've killed Illidan, I've killed the Lich King, I soloed the Lich King, I survived the stupid death scene where he's supposed to definitely kill you, and awkwardly stood there while he talked about my death, like...
Right.
So, this is who my character is. And then you go into PvP and you're like, I have done all these deeds. You see another player, you punch him in the face and he turns around and one-shots you. And it's like, I don't know what happened. I don't even know where to begin with what just happened. I didn't hurt him at all, and he instantly killed me, and I don't know why. And I feel like that's kind of the issue that I run into when I PvP, is I go from feeling like a powerful character to feeling like a extremely weak character. I feel more like the creep from Heroes of the Storm, and that there are some choice players out there that just see me and they're like, oh, let's just hit him with our ability, we'll kill him and get our gold and move on. And I think that if they want to bring people into PvP, I think part of what makes Heroes so appealing is that feeling of, oh, my character's awesome. My character's great. I don't think they've captured that, at least for me going into PvP new. It never feels that way.
I totally agree, because back when you and I were on an arena team, this was back in Burning Crusade, level 70. It was John on his rogue, I was on my mage, and we had a hunter with us, so it was a 3v3. I was the first one to die every single match, and I would usually live for, maybe if I was lucky, and this isn't even a stretch, like maybe 10 seconds. And I hated doing arenas. There's absolutely nothing I can do, because I'm dead, boom, that's it. I'm just kind of lying there waiting for the match to be over. And meanwhile, a lot of our matches ended up with John, killing everyone else because he was a rogue, but he took his time because that's how rogues play and are successful. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there for 5, 6, 10 minutes, just like, come on. And then we'd queue up for the next one, and then die instantly again. It just wasn't fun. But going into the match again with that level playing field, I have a chance, and even more so, the power progression and stuff as you go through the game is absolutely fantastic, because everybody is contributing to get to that end point. Like, when we hit level 10, I want to do a little merry jig in my chair every single time, because it's like, woohoo, hero ability, get all excited and stuff. and it's just, it's starting out small, you get that growth, and even if you die, you're not out for the entire match. Whereas with, certain levels of PvP, you are. Battlegrounds, not as much, but even so, if the other team is, really holed up somewhere, gosh, when did I do PvP? I did PvP kind of on a semi-consistent basis which is surprising, Cataclysm, but it was only Tolbarad, because I felt like I can actually contribute in that. Everything else, I'm just a liability who's just going to be consistently dying all the time.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting point, man. And you feel bad. You feel like you're letting your team down, and like, oh, what have I done? And Arcane Mage in the chat room said one thing that he said: Heroes feels more fair to me, a more level playing field. Everyone has access to the same skills, and gear isn't a factor. That's another point too. Like we said, I think it's simplification. It's just a few amount of skills. There's also a few amount of heroes. And because of that, you're focused on your teammates. And if you die, it's okay. You can kill some minions. You're kind of helping out your team. I mean, the last thing you want to do is die but by killing minions, you're raising your team's level. And I don't know, man, there's just those, and maybe it also could be a skill shot thing. Sometimes, like, there's no greater feeling if you're a Nova and you land that snipe, somebody's running and you pop that guy and boom, and the sound effects and the when it dies, and you're like, yeah, and everyone on your team, they can all see it and everyone cheers, and it's like, yeah. Or if you're ETC and you run into the bad guys and you pop that mosh pit and you stun everyone, and then all your guys and Val and everybody is just you're raining down hell on top of them. You feel like we're doing this together as a team. There's this synergy, and we're together conquering these other heroes. And I think that the reason we focus on that, the reason we see those moments, is because it's much more simplified. It's not like you were saying, John, at the beginning, where you've got 20, 30 abilities and 2 or 3 hotbars and all this crazy stuff going on. It's simple, it's easy to see, it's easy to understand, and it's just skill. You know what I mean? It's mano a mano, even playing field.
Well, and I think, like, player death means something in Heroes of the Storm. In WoW, when I kill somebody, I mean, unless it's special circumstances around it, unless it's, we found each other on the battlefield and it was just the 2 of us and we fought it out and I won, that might be a cool thing. But for the most part, when it's just everybody's mashed up together around the flag, when you kill someone, you barely even notice, like, oh, okay, that guy died. Or, maybe if somebody's doing a really good job healing, we need to kill that healer, and then you see him drop and you're like, yay, we got him. And you move on to the next. In Heroes, because there is so much back and forth and, they almost got me, but I got away. When a hero dies, it feels like something. It feels like, and even to that risk reward of, I got him to where it was 1 shot, but he used his ability that got him just far enough, and I chased him, and I knew the turret was going to shoot at me, but I chased him anyway, and I hit him 1 time, and he died, and it was so worth it, and you got him. It feels like this big accomplishment and something to be proud of, and you notice every kill you get.
Right.
Also, the kill count much lower. A WoW battlefield, battleground, it's like, I had 27 kills. But if you have like 9 takedowns in Heroes, it's like, yeah, I had a good match, like 9 takedowns. That's pretty good. You feel happy with yourself and pleased with what you've been doing. So I think that plays into it too, which is the actual PvP, and the success in it feels like it means more than it does in WoW.
It's funny because one of the things that I really enjoy is when I'm playing Heroes and all of a sudden you see who's on the other team and it's your guy. It's like, oh, I'm going to take him down every single time because I am the person who's playing Muradin. He's mine. And this is why I'm playing him, because I'm better than you. And look, your whole team's trying to help you, but guess what? I hit that shockwave thing, and guess what? He's just stunned and boop, dead. Right. It is that, even playing field, same skills. I mean, literally the exact same skills, and I'm doing better. Yay!
Right.
I'm the better Tassadar.
Exactly. There is a feeling of that. Like, yeah, I'm the better Tassadar. I know that it's the same skills, but I'm playing this character better than you are, and there's a feeling of satisfaction. So I have one last question for you guys.
Yeah.
Just to wrap this up. So this is great feedback, right? So we've done our jobs. We've given feedback. Here's our feedback. Now, my question is, what would you do based on our current feedback to fix WoW PvP to make us want to play? What is the fix? Is it that there's no more stats on PvP gear? Is PvP gear only for aesthetics? Meaning everyone's gear is equal. When you step into that match, that other team and your team have the same exact gear. There's no power difference. It's just aesthetics. Is that a solve? Is that one? What would be some others?
It definitely could be. I mean, if I was going to give my suggestion, and I will in a minute, but I'm gonna give my negative answer first. My negative answer is this. I've said a couple times where I'm like, we've reached this point in WoW where I feel like it can kind of shift. They can either kind of just keep doing what they've been doing, or they can radically alter things and really change it up. And I think Blizzard has proven that they have a tendency to kind of stay on the same boat. Like, they are willing to throw out things like, say, we'll redo the talent system and stuff like that. Like, they have made big changes in the past, but I think we're seeing them, especially when the subscribers started to decline a bit, play it a little bit safer. Like, let's not do anything radical. Let's not try and do a full class overhaul. Let's try and keep people happy where they are. You know, a lot of people said, are you guys going to overhaul the rogue? It's the least played class in the game. Are they the next ones who are going to get a big overhaul? And they said, we're more interested in not losing the rogue players we have. Like, that was kind of their answer to it. And I kind of feel like that would be their ultimate answer with PvP. Like, we could take a lot of steps to change it and make it something that maybe people would really love and flock to, but that could also alienate the people that currently do it, because there are people who obviously that's the game to them. And if they dramatically change it, there's a chance those people might still like what they come up with, but there's a chance that they might not. And there's a chance that these other people that haven't done it aren't going to adopt it either. And the net result is they put in a ton of time and effort, and they have fewer people doing it than they did before. But my answer to your question would be I would totally redo the skill set for every class, and not just in a PvP case. I would like to see Blizzard adopt a set amount of skills that we can use. Maybe you have a bunch of skills that you can pull from, but you pull the selected skills and build depth around crafting your own character and expand upon your own character. And I'd love to see more customization within those skills, almost like a Diablo, like, I put this modification on it, and, you know, to where they can maybe even get back to that thing where you unlock something every single level. And how even some of it is just cosmetic, but so what? You know, now my kick is blue and sends lightning everywhere, and before it was just kind of bland. You know, even if it's just simple stuff like that. I'd like to see that, and I think that would feed into a better PvP experience, because you know, okay, I only have to learn these abilities. These are what I need to do. And I would get rid of, you know, PvP gear as far as a stat boost, and I would put it on that level playing field, and I would have the unlocks be more cosmetic, and I would crank up player power in PvP to where it is harder to kill players. Not impossible, but to where you feel like you have more life. You feel like you can take hits. And I would make the battlegrounds a bit more objective based, so that people that maybe aren't as into being up in people's faces punching them feel like they're contributing to the fight a little bit more as well too.
Right.
And also, just because I want one, I still want a genuine deathmatch battleground.
Right.
In PvP. Like, just straight up deathmatch. No special rules about, like, oh, you were behind, so now a kill gets you 10 points instead of 1. Like, no weird rules like that. Straight up deathmatch. And if they want to make it insta-gib with low gravity, that would be fine too.
Right, exactly. Then you'd be good to go. So that's interesting. So fewer skills, but more maybe customization in those skills. Maybe because you can't really do a level up thing. I'm just spitballing here. What if, like, after every 5 minutes you get a new skill unlocks, you know, and then, you know, every 3 minutes a new skill, like both teams, you know what I mean, or something like that. But I believe there actually is, believe it or not, kind of a catch-up mechanic in Heroes of the Storm, which is why you don't see these giant 8 or 9 level gaps. If you notice, you may pull 3 to 4 levels ahead in Heroes, but by the end of the match, when you win, sometimes it's only within 1 or 2 levels. When you get around like the 19s and 20s, there is a little bit of a catch-up mac or something with XP. But I don't know. I love that a lot, and I think, like, the simplification of skills, maybe some more customization to it, I think could be really cool. Ben, what do you think, brother? What do we do to fix this?
Here's the thing. When John talks about PvP, he mirrors a lot of my thoughts on it. So I like a lot of what he said. But we're going to forget he said all that, and I'm going to make stuff up myself. So
Excellent.
Yeah, in all honesty, he's right. Changing it doesn't work, because there is a huge portion of the WoW player base that loves PvP. Just like there's a huge portion of the player base that loves raiding. You know, what I would really like to see is, and I have no idea how this is going to happen unless, well, you know what, I'll make it up. Okay, so Blizzard added LFR because they wanted people to see the raiding content and, get people through it, because they spent a lot of time and money and work and effort and everything building all these experiences that only a fraction of the player base was actually, doing. I think PvP is similar to that in a sense that not everybody does it. I mean, obviously, we're three people who have been in this game for forever. We don't do PvP. It's just simple as that. Now, if they were to do some sort of PvP light thing, I think it's something that I could actually enjoy. Not necessarily like totally Heroes of the Storm it, where it's like, okay, you have all these minions going out and you're the hero in like a PvP match. I know that they kind of tooled around with that, and stuff was leaked forever ago from some patch that they were going to possibly throw a battleground like that in there. That's not exactly what I'm talking about. I'm saying go into some sort of PvP battle, but have have it be against bots or something, where you can go in with either a pre-built team or by yourself and just kind of get an experience of it to maybe train yourself more before you get into the real thing. Now, coming up with all the different AI routines and stuff like that, I don't know how talented Blizzard would be with that. I don't think that they're going to be able to, really realistically give you a full experience in a bot match with how it would be in like real PvP. I mean, unless they have your chat flooded with, you idiots, this is why we always lose and stuff like that. It's not going to be actually accurate, but some sort of, I guess the best way to put it, like hand-holding into a PvP setting could potentially bring more people in. I know with raiding, or not raiding, but with heroics, you had to get a silver in Proving Grounds.
Yes.
Maybe play a certain number of matches in your, fake PvP environment before you have access to that type of gameplay or that map or something like that, so that you kind of at least can figure out what the certain objectives are. Like, Arathi Basin, you have to defend or attack or anything. You can't just constantly go from place to place and just expect to just kill stuff and win. You actually need to capture these points in order for you to, win the battle and everything. So, in this sense, it might draw more people. It won't change the overall game of PvP, but it could be, a way to bring people in.
It's the gateway drug to PvP.
Exactly. Go see your battle master in your garrison to learn how to PvP.
Right.
This is how we bring the fight to the Alliance or something.
I think that's brilliant, because for me with Heroes of the Storm, at the end of a long day at work, I want to get home and relax. I just run a co-op because I know it'll be relaxing. I know I'm going to get a victory. I'm still going to be able to kill dudes and get some points and contribute to my team, but it's not going to be like hardcore. I can just kind of relax, still kill some people, have a great time, and then relax and call it a night. That co-op mode for me is so relaxing. And if there was something like that in World of Warcraft, I think that's brilliant. It's like a nice intro into it. You practice, you get familiar with your stuff, your abilities, and then you go and you do the real thing. That's why I feel like quick match is the real thing. But that co-op is such a great relaxing thing, or a great way in. I think that's brilliant, man. I love it.
I don't want to ruin your whole philosophy behind co-op, but John and I have proved that you can lose in co-op against the computer. It can happen.
Oh no, that's not good. That must have been one heck of a game, I got to tell you.
It was.
Right.
Multiple times it's happened. A lot of people who are new to the game. You got to find your place.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Find your hero. Depending on who's available and everything like that. And
that's the other thing, is that with Heroes of the Storm, you've got a lot of people that are going off of the free rotation. So there's a chance that someone finds a hero they really like, and then the next week that hero is not available anymore, and so now they're in a game and it's their first game on a hero that they've never played before.
Sure.
So there's a lot of that too. But I think if you talk to kind of circle it back to WoW real quick, if you talk to people who PvP a lot, they talk about one of their favorite aspects is kind of something we've been mentioning, which is the idea of learning what the other classes can do and how to counter it.
Right.
And I think that that's part of what makes Heroes of the Storm fun. But I think when you have as many skills and specs and talents and all of that as well, you're asking to learn a lot, especially for someone who maybe doesn't want to make PvP their game. And I think that's where maybe reducing that skill set, maybe reducing what's available, making it less about gear and things like that can really benefit a new player, because then they can say, oh, okay, I'm fighting this class, and typically these are the things they're going to do, and this is how I counter it, and this is how I deal with it. And I think that's a more reasonable thing to ask of a new player who doesn't want to devote themselves to PvP with limited skills, as opposed to saying, like, I don't know, they can do everything a priest can do.
Well,
Right.
John, that's a great point, because just as a raid leader, knowing what we have available within the raid team, I have issues because, we're so diverse with, okay, we have like 20 hunters, but aside from
Right.
them, I don't know every single ability that, like, say, a holy paladin has. It's like, I know that they have Beacon of Light and they can bubble themselves still. See, I don't even know on that. So I can't even think of, like, knowing all the abilities of the different classes and the different specs and how to counter them, like, on top of that. That's just, it's not the kind of game that I want to play. So, good point.
Yeah.
Great, man. That's great. I think that's good. That's some decent feedback there. Something a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
hopefully.
love it. I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying. That is why I play Heroes and don't do World of Warcraft PvP, and because WoW PvP to me is just so intimidating on so many different levels. It's complicated. There's so much going on, so many skills, the gear. There's so much happening all at once that, yeah, if it's simplification, you know what I mean, is a great point. Great point.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think it's time for a little celebrity Murloc theater. What do you think, John?
I think you're right. I think it's time.
Definitely.
Celebrity Murloc Theater.
So, do you even remember, like, helping with that bumper?
That sounded familiar. I think I know that voice, that Murloc sound. Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's forever ago. Holy cow.
Yeah, episode 9 is where the concept came from, actually. So we've been using that for a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow, that's so cool. That's awesome.
Yep. So
There you go. We got a new one for the future now, Ben.
perfect.
Right.
Isolate
right.
that. Use it.
Yeah. So Celebrity Murloc Theater. John, do you want to tell us what it is?
Sure thing. Celebrity Murloc Theater is the segment of the show where we will air listener submissions on what celebrity Murlocs they have decided to share with us. Now, there are 3 different ways that somebody can send us a Celebrity Murloc Theater submission. The first way is for the person to do an impersonation of a Murloc, as Koltrane just demonstrated right now. The second way is they can do an impression of a celebrity doing the voice of a Murloc, which I'm going to put Koltrane on the spot and say, go ahead and do right now.
Here's a Murloc. Blah 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 blah. Well, that's terrible.
Good enough. We're happy with it.
We actually had a comment the other day that said, I like how when you put someone on the spot about doing a Murloc impression, Christopher Walken Murloc is always the top choice.
Is it the go-to?
It is a
Pretty much.
go-to.
Yeah,
it's a good
absolutely.
choice. It's a good way to go.
Right. Yes.
The third way is to take a clip from a movie or television show, go ahead
Song.
and insert a Murloc where you feel appropriate, air it, and send that file to us as well. Ben, we did get a submission this week. It came in from Calypsa from Earth and Ring, which sounds familiar, but I'm not sure why. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what kind of Celebrity Murloc Theater we just received?
Well, this is actually option 3. So
Okay.
adding Murlocs to something.
All right.
All right, and here we go.
Girl.
Gozer was a man. Whatever it wants to be.
Well, whatever it is, it's got to get by us. Right. Go get her, Ray. Go to the Koltrane. Good evening. As a duly designated representative of the city, county, and state of New York, I order you to cease any and all supernatural activity and return forth to your place of origin or to the nearest convenient parallel dimension. That ought to do it. Thanks very much, Ray.
Are you